pro se, is it? But I have a consulting or backup attorney.
Okay.
So what's the rule here?
If you are represented by a lawyer, I can't talk to you right now. If you're not represented by a lawyer currently, I just wanted to, basically for the purposes of convenience to the court, if you are charged with, hey Louis, how are you?
Hi, do you mind if I sit in?
No, by all means.
You can educate me too.
Well, I don't know how much education is going to be going on, but I'll give it an attempt. If you are charged with obstructing government administration, disorderly conduct, or trespass, basically if you are charged with anything other than criminal contempt, okay? If you plead, I will make you the following plea offer, okay? 1 count of disorderly conduct, 1 count of trespass, and the judge is crafting a order of protection that basically carves out conduct that you can go to the base as long as it's an organized protest. Okay? If you plead guilty to those, it's no jail time, and we can be done with it. Obviously, you're entitled to a trial if you want to go to trial. You're more than welcome to do that. But if you are interested in a plea negotiation, the plea negotiation is this. As long as you are not charged with criminal contempt, it is a plea to trespass, a plea to discon, and that order of protection that the judge has crafted. Okay? Anyone have any questions for me?
Couple, sure. How long is the order of protection?
It'll be 2 years.
How does the order of protection affect, like, I know several people from this group who went traveling, and when they came back...
You're not represented right now, right?
Nope.
Okay.
So when they were traveling in other countries, and then they came back here, they were tagged at airports and held and questioned about why they had these orders of protection. I'm wondering how they follow you around, and how it affects any jobs or anything like that.
I can't speak to any of that stuff. What I can tell you is that if you, I don't know the answer to that question. I know that if you, there's possible ways to run someone's criminal history and it shows up. I don't know what collateral effects it has, so I can't comment.
So there was 3 different people who had that when they came back to the country.
When they came back here?
Yep.
Yeah, same when coming through the border by Buffalo here, people that happen. They stop and they spend a couple hours in the booth.
So I just want to say the ramifications of this order of protection is not just keeping people away from the base. They're getting tagged other places. So I just want you to know that as you're giving this order of protection to people, that it's not just a simple thing. And so when you simply give it to people, it's not just a simple thing. Just so you know.
The person's name on the order of protection for the people from last night was a new name.
Yes.
Does that mean if I have an order of protection for the name of a person who is no longer at the base, what is the status of that?
I guess I don't understand your question.
My order is for Colonel Semmel. If Colonel Semmel was not there but has in effect been replaced by this new person.
No, he's not been replaced by a new person.
And do you know what the role is of this new person?
He's not a new person.
And why was he identified, why has he been added to the list of people we're supposed to stay away from?
Because he was a witness to that particular event.
Huh.
Okay, and the OGA has just disappeared with the offer?
It doesn't disappear. What it is if you plead guilty to the charge. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are
Did
you?
you get my, it's probably, I wish I would have known you were coming, I would have just brought it with you. It's in the mail.
Oh, great, thank you.
You didn't get it yet, I don't think, probably. It's probably going to be
Probably
tomorrow.
tomorrow, like that, yeah.
I mean, I wish I had known you were going to be here, I would just get brought it.
I tried to call you late today, but...
Sorry. I called you and it just kept ringing.
The Verizon, there are about 100,000 numbers, their voicemail's gone down.
Come on, seriously?
Yeah, they lost some servers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Could have saved postage and everything.
I know.
OGA disappearing.
If you plead guilty to the 2 charges, I'll dismiss the OJ. The OJ will be dismissed.
Okay, and it's my understanding, apropos of Evelyn's question, that it is common practice when someone has an OOP that there may be annotations related to that order of protection so that when it comes up on the computer, a given police officer understands this is the circumstance or that's the circumstance I think that it's appropriate that we consider some kind of annotation so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen.
I don't know, I can't even comment because I don't know.
So
I just don't, I just don't deal with it, it's not something I know.
Can I ask why you would be giving this to people if you don't know the ramifications of what's going to happen to people if they are given this kind of thing?
I don't know the ramifications for when people go to like Pakistan, because
No,
this
these
is the
people
only time I've
came
ever
back
dealt
from
with it.
Canada.
In Toronto.
They came back from Canada. And they were held at the border for hours.
That's something you'll have to consider when you're considering the plea negotiation. Does anyone else have any other questions that involve anything of me specifically and not my interpretation in international law? Yeah.
Well, pardon me, I didn't understand what you said
That
about
didn't have anything to do
international
with
law.
international law.
It's me going across government borders. Yes, it is.
No, it's
Go
people
ahead.
coming back into this country.
You gotta talk to customs.
So I just want to clarify, some people just have obstructing governmental administration and also disorderly conduct, not a trespass. Are you saying that there's also a trespass?
What I would do is reduce that OGA to a trespass and take a plea to both of them.
I see.
So I would take a plea to disorderly conduct and trespass.
Reducing it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
Okay, and I would be willing to share with you my experience of coming back into this country.
I'm not gonna engage on this because I don't know, you gotta talk to customs about that. This is
No,
something
well,
completely
no, you're
outside
the
my
one
purview.
No, I'm
You're
the
the
one,
one who's
I'm.
First of all, no, I'm not, and second of all, I'm extending you all a favor, so
No.
I'm not gonna take a beating right now on this,
No,
so.
well, listen, how can we logically know whether to accept this, what do you call it, this order of protection? If the gentleman is drafting it now, is that going to be, you're supposed to tell you folks tonight whether you accept that or not? I mean, that is a very serious thing, because just for your information, people, because you're so young, way back in 2006, some Canadian fellow was crossing our country, and they got him on a no-flight list, pulled him off the plane, sent him to Syria. Syria was our friend at the time. He was tortured for a year, came back here to Canada.
Do you have a question of me?
Canada said he was innocent, they gave him millions of dollars and so forth. And our country has not yet apologized to this person.
Let me ask you a question, how does this have anything to do with me?
It has something to do with me because they could do the same thing to me. I was lucky they didn't do that to me when I was in the airport in Florida, so I want to be very clear about what's going on in this courtroom about orders of protection
Okay.
that they're just writing right now.
Mr. Finley, I can't have you in here, and I'm sorry, you're represented by counsel. All right, does anyone have any other questions specifically about my offer?
Yeah, you weren't exactly explicit as to any fines that are going to be associated with that or something?
That's the judge, I think there's a surcharge. Okay, that's the judge's job to set the fine and surcharge. He said it'd be a 1-year conditional discharge, and I'm pretty sure there's a surcharge involved. But you can ask the judge.
I didn't quite understand. I think you said you were doing us a favor.
Of trying to talk to you, yes. And try and get everyone out of here at a reasonable time, because that's been a complaint of people that I've talked to. So, yes, I try to do it.
If it's a
but-
1-year conditional discharge and the order of protection is the condition, then why are you saying a 2-year order of protection if the judge is issuing a 1-year conditional discharge?
Because that's the extent of the UNLP.
Whoa.
What did he say?
Because that's the extent of the OOP.
I think Ellen's point is something that each of us that talks to the judge tonight should raise. That the ramifications of the OOP clearly are beyond just keeping away from the base.
Absolutely.
And what are they, and how will they follow you around? And nobody knew that they would be followed at a border, but how's it going to affect jobs in the future? How is it going to affect any of those things? And I think that he needs to know that this is a concern for everybody, and it should go in the record that this is nonsense. You know, if they want a ban and bar, they give you a ban and bar. It's not, a ban and bar is totally different than an order of protection.
The ban and bar idea was raised last night by Mark Colville
Yep.
to Joko.
And what did he
Joko
say?
had no idea what it was.
No,
He was just completely ignorant about what it was, so it
It's
seems
a
to
base
me.
mode.
It's a federal-
But, and that's.
I know that we might do some education of
Right.
them,
That's
that,
because the base is what would issue it and not the court.
That's
correct.
And then, you know, if people violate that, they know, they're facing 6 months or whatever it is. But this is ridiculous that they're giving this to people.
It's also a question of, you know, we never, so when we went before the judge originally, we had no, you know, the order of protection was in effect at that point, before a trial, before we were convicted or anything.
Before we had a chance to speak
Before,
for ourselves.
exactly, it is, you
We
know,
were found guilty before.
before we, so now we're pleading guilty and it's just a question of what exactly.
Right, and you only have a trespass charge?
No, I have the,
Babies that.
Disorderly conduct.
I have the disorderly, two disorderly
Right, you have two kinds of
and the obstruction.
The new order of protection, then you have to change the ordinance.
Yeah, just one other thought, I think, is, given the number of us here, I think if enough of us refuse the order, I still find it hard, I mean, that would back up this court for a year.
Or more?
I don't understand what refuse the order.
If we refuse the
The deal.
offer, I'm sorry, the
Yes,
offer.
yes, absolutely.
You know, so I think we still have a lot of collective power.
Yeah.
Not to urge anybody to do anything, but the more of us that refuse the offer,
I don't intend on
the
taking
more
it.
I think the court will have to rethink what it's doing.
In Florida, and I thought I was coming into a fashion state, it was so awful if I lived there, but I didn't get stuck.
Okay.
I was an order of protection.
Okay, that's good to know.
I would like to know one thing that we should know, but I'm not too diplomatic, so maybe somebody who is more diplomatic can find out if these gentlemen in the, what do you call it, this justice system, if any of them have taken a course in international law while they were in law school, and of course that's private, your transcript, you know, that's private information, but I think we're entitled to know if they have any expertise or if they've ever taken a course in international law. It seems like some of them don't really get it.
You're here.
Want to know, right? And they don't even want to know.
Wait, somebody facilitate? Right, why don't we just have, I'll be facilitator. Ellen? That was setup though. So I'm just wondering of the defendants who are here, so he's just made this offer, and I think maybe some of you already knew that was what the offer was, and where everybody stands with it, and before we go back to the courtroom. And maybe people don't want to share that right now, or need to think more, but I'm just wondering where it's at.
I have been considering taking the plea bargain. I mean, I'm pretty much made up my mind to take it because I have a 5-year-old and I don't feel like risk spending a year in jail. So that's why I'm taking it. But I also was wondering if anybody had heard from the people who have already gone, the people who have lawyers who've already been in front of the judge, and if anybody has heard if they've taken plea bargains also.
Does anyone have that information? Well, the 4 people that are in there now that are back again tonight, because they made a motion to join together and the judge would, when they were there last month, none of them, but those 4 aren't taking it. And some other people weren't too. I don't know if anybody did, but.
Valerie took a plea.
Valerie took a plea, but she didn't have a lawyer. What she did, she had a court-appointed lawyer. Valerie took one.
Sandy.
And she got the 2 years?
Sandy took one.
Right?
Right, Max did.
Max took one a year
But
ago.
she didn't, right, she didn't have
That
the
was
same deal, right, exactly, as what you guys are taking on.
Maybe we should get the 4 of them in here.
Yeah, but how, yeah, do we want to get the four? Go ahead, Mary.
No, I'm a defendant and I'm not planning on taking a plea.
I am. I'm a defendant, and I am planning on taking a plea. But I should, I really should say, there are a lot of cops in my family, a lot of prosecutors in my family, and I've been talking to someone about this. This is all just sort of speculation. They could drop the misdemeanor at any time, regardless of what we take or don't take,
Right.
and turn these from
Mary Snyder?
Good luck, Mary.
Good luck, Mary. You got it.
Hey, Mary.
We should be in there. Yeah, somebody needs to be in there.
So,
Well, I'm a defendant,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not gonna take the deal.
right, if you guys could go
I'm
in
pro
there,
se, and
and
I'm-
then if the defendants could stay just for a minute and see where. Yeah, they're going with her. But I'm just wondering if we could just quickly go around and say where people are at. You're a defendant and you're not taking the
What
plea.
are you gonna do?
You're not
taking the plea.
Okay, you're not taking the plea.
Bonnie, what are you gonna do?
I'm a defendant, I'm not taking the plea.
Okay.
I'm not taking it.
You're not taking the plea. You're not taking the plea, that's it. And that's it.
Defendant.
Okay, that's good to know before we walk in there.
John.